You are not spending on luxury. You are spending on survival. And that distinction is exactly how the system keeps you broke at six figures. There is a category of expenditure that doesn't appear in any financial planning textbook, and your wealth manager has almost certainly never flagged it. It isn't your mortgage. It isn't your investment account underperforming. It is the quiet, compounding invoice of a corporate structure that consumes every productive hour you have, and then sells you the infrastructure to keep functioning. The hyperconvenience industry generated over $1.5 trillion in annual U.S. consumer spending as of 2025. Meal delivery platforms, premium childcare outsourcing, concierge medical services, private car logistics, all of it architected to service one specific consumer, the time-starved, high-earning professional, who has no bandwidth left to evaluate what she is actually paying. Here is the diagnostic truth. Every dollar you spend on convenience is a dollar you spent because the system extracted the time that would have made it unnecessary. That is not a guilt trip. That is a structural indictment. Cost 1. The premium food ecosystem. A female executive earning $180,000 annually, operating inside a 60-plus hour work week, is statistically spending between $1,100 and $1,800 per month on premium food outsourcing, restaurant delivery markups, corporate lunch circuits, and weekend meal services that feel like a reasonable trade for time. Annualized, that is between $13,200 and $21,600 in post-tax dollars, because she is spending from net income, not gross. And her effective federal and state tax burden at that income level sits around 34% combined in a high-tax state. She is generating approximately $20,000 to $32,700 in gross income, just to feed herself efficiently. That is not a food budget. That is a secondary mortgage on her schedule. Cost 2. The private childcare and household logistics stack. This is where the trap gets structurally sophisticated. Premium childcare in any Tier 1 U.S. metro market, New York, San Francisco, Chicago, Boston, runs between $3,500 and $6,000 per month per child for private nanny arrangements. Add household management services, which high-earning executives frequently require to maintain a functioning home, while managing corporate restructuring cycles, and the monthly logistics stack climbs to between $7,000 and $11,000. Annually, that is between $84,000 and $132,000. Read that number again. Between $84,000 and $132,000 in post-tax household operational costs. For a woman earning $180,000, that is effectively her entire net annual income after federal and state taxes. Before a single dollar reaches an investment vehicle, she is running a corporation inside her home at a loss. Cost 3. The premium health and recovery circuit. The modern executive wellness stack is no longer a luxury category. Corporate performance demands have recategorized it as occupational maintenance. Concierge primary care memberships average $2,400 to $3,600 annually. Add monthly therapy or executive coaching at $400 to $800 per session. Weekly recovery services, massage, IV therapy, physiotherapy, and the annual health maintenance bill for a high-performing female executive in a demanding corporate environment runs between $18,000 and $36,000 per year. This is the subtlest trap of the four, because her health is genuinely compromised by the workload. The spending feels medically justified, and it is. The indictment isn't her choice. It's the architecture that manufactured the necessity. Cost 4. The time-arbitrage transportation premium. Black car services, premium parking in CBD corridors, and airport lounge memberships and upgrades. For the executive who travels 8 to 14 times per year on corporate business, when personal and overflow professional travel costs are isolated. This category adds between $8,400 and $15,600 annually. For a mid to senior level corporate woman, managing a distributed team or client base. Here is the compound damage. These 4 categories, food, household logistics, health recovery, and premium transportation, are not additive. They are multiplicative. Each one feeds the next because they are all downstream of a single constraint. Time scarcity, manufactured by the corporate structure she is performing inside. The system doesn't just extract your labor. It creates the exact market that profits from your exhaustion. Stack all 4 categories at their median combined annual cost. You are looking at between $123,600 and $201,600 per year in post-tax convenience expenditure for a high-earning female executive in a major U.S. metropolitan market. At a 7% annualized investment return, the historical inflation-adjusted S&P 500 average, $150,000 per year invested over a 15-year horizon, compounds to approximately $3,760,000. That is the actual cost of the convenience premium, not the line items, the forfeited compounded asset base. This is what I call the executive liquidity paradox. The system extracts enough of your time to make self-sufficiency impossible, then monetizes your incapacity at a premium. And because the spending feels rational and necessary at every individual decision point, your wealth planning brain never triggers a consolidation alarm. The trap is invisible because it is made entirely of reasonable choices. The behavioral fix is not austerity. Eliminating these costs without a structural solution is operationally impossible for a woman managing an executive career. The institutional-grade intervention is what I call convenience budgeting architecture, a pre-committed, quarterly reviewed cap on all 4 categories combined, treated identically to a capital expenditure budget. Inside a corporate P&L, you set the ceiling before the month begins, allocate within it, and redirect every dollar beneath the ceiling into a designated brokerage or alternative asset account on an automated transfer schedule. No discretion, no monthly reevaluation. The system runs itself exactly the way the hyperconvenience industry runs its billing model against you. You are not auditing your lifestyle. You are installing governance over it. Now here is where this becomes structurally dangerous. Because the moment a high-earning woman recognizes this liquidity drain and attempts to correct it, she typically overcorrects. She stops deploying capital entirely. She holds cash. She calls it discipline. That response, the psychological reflex to hoard liquid assets after recognizing a spending trap, is its own compounding wealth destruction mechanism, and it is arguably more damaging than the convenience costs themselves. The capital she rescues from the hyperconvenience industry sits idle in a high-yield savings account generating 4.5%, while inflation and opportunity costs silently dismantle its real purchasing power. Click the video on your screen right now, and let's dissect exactly how the cash hoarding reflex operates as a silent wealth confiscation engine, and what institutional-grade deployment looks like. For a woman who has finally stopped bleeding, but hasn't yet started building,